expressed optimism towards the end of the film that this is going to be turned over in your lifetime. Should we all still share your sense of optimism?
Yeah, that's why you're here, right? Yeah, I mean, look, it took 50 years for the anti-abortion movement to overturn Roe. We're not going to fix it overnight, but you know, the fact that we can fill theaters to watch this story, which is obviously very difficult for all of us to share, I think says a lot. But what I always say is that you don't all need to go to law school. We probably have enough lawyers in this country. But everyone needs to be doing something in their lives. In whatever sphere in which you operate, do something. Donate to your local abortion fund, advocate, vote, obviously. But all of us can do something, even if it's just talking openly about our abortions and our miscarriages.
How many active lawsuits do you have right now, Molly?
I think the tally is around 19, and that's a lot of lawsuits for a pretty small staff, so, you know.
And last question for you, how do you protect your mental health? Like, what's your regime?
We were just talking about how I'm really into jigsaw puzzles, and a lot of my family is here, and so you may have, yeah. This is what we do over Christmas. It's very cool to be a Duane. No, I have a therapist. I highly recommend it. But, you know, I think the way I talk about our work is that, you know, abortion and reproduction in general are some of the most intimate and delicate moments of people's lives. And so whether I'm representing doctors or patients, I feel like I have no choice but to lawyer with my whole body, with my whole being. And I think that showing compassion for each other can go a really long way, and that's how I try to operate in my job. So.
And Abbie and Maisie, how did you come upon this story? Why this film?
I made a film in 2016 called Jackson about the last abortion clinic in Mississippi. It came out before the election. It was a very different world. I didn't think I'd revisit this subject matter. And then the election went a way that I didn't think it would. And through that film, I got to know the Center for Reproductive Rights and the amazing legal team they have. And we kept in touch with a very special woman who is here, Sandy Keenan, who...
There she is.
Hi, Sandy. Sandy kept Abbie and I up to date on everything that was happening and what the next fights were going to be. And so when Roe was overturned, we knew we wanted to make a film about a post-Roe landscape in America. And when Sandy told us about the lawsuit that was going to be filed in Texas, we knew that this was a story and this was the time to make it. But when we met Amanda, Samantha, Austin, and Molly, I think we were really blown away. And we, as two Texas women, really felt in awe of them, and were just, I think, just so honored and humbled to be able to share the stories that they were already wanting to tell to the world. And so it's just really been, I think, a true honor to be able to do this.
And what surprised you both the most in making this film?
I think the biggest surprise for me was when Molly picked up the phone and called us right after we finished filming with you guys, to say, actually, there's a woman who is in a medical emergency and is going to file a case with us. And I was floored that somebody would be willing to bear themselves before the court in that way when they're going through something so difficult. And so we raced back to Molly and filmed that. But I think we've just been in awe of all of these women for, you know, telling their stories and telling them again. It's enough to do it in court, but to be in the media and then in this film, I know it's not easy to tell these stories, and so to do it over and over again is remarkable.
Yeah, one of the things, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think as much as we hear abortion stories and we talk about it, and we obviously were meeting with so many women in the days following the overturning of Roe. I think that until you sit alongside all of these plaintiffs and these women and understand the long-term implications of being denied care and how traumatic it is, you can't fully know. And so I found that surprising. I thought I understood, but until I went on this journey, I didn't understand. And that's why I think it's so critical that people see this film and people understand what it means to live in a state, to live in America right now, to be honest, where you can't access the healthcare that you need.
Yeah, I love so much about the film, but I really, really love how you do show all the unexpected consequences and the waterfall of effects that are negative and damage everyone around you. It's not just the woman themselves, it's the nuclear family, it's the grandparents, and and all the different ripple effects, and that is so important and so toxic, and people don't really understand that about trauma, that it's not, it doesn't stay contained. We're as unhealthy as, if someone hurts, we all hurt, in the surrounding ecosystem. So thank you for showing that so poignantly. Another question that another thing I was really struck by with this film, which I really, really loved, was you so poignantly and quietly show the banality of evil. I mean, it was kind of stunning that you got Lindsey Graham's eye roll. Like fucking amazing. And it was stunning, just this sort of, the way in which they could sort of do this completely awful, insane, irrecoupably evil with just no feeling whatsoever. It was incredible. How did you, was that in the editing room? And the second question to that is, did you ever try and interview any of those men? I mean, I'm just going to say, it was all men, right? It was.
There was a woman on the legal team.
Okay. But did you ever try, or Lindsey Graham or Paxton, or did you ever send them letters or just say, no? That's interesting.
No, we weren't interested in filming them or really in hearing what they had to say. I think it's clear what their opinion is. I mean, I think it's clear what they want to happen. We saw it in the courtroom, and we saw it in the way that they asked questions. And we didn't feel like we needed to give them any more of a platform. And then I think, we shot in July of 2023, the first hearing where you see Amanda, Samantha, and Austin testify, and the judge gave us very strict rules about how we were to film that. And of course, Texas tried to stop us from filming in there. But we had to keep the camera on a tripod. We couldn't pan, we couldn't zoom. And so we had 12 hours to figure out how we were gonna cover that. And we very quickly got the most high resolution camera we could find in Austin. But because of those confines, we really grew to, I don't want to, love isn't the right word, but really like the way that the women's voices were leading the narrative through that court case, and we ended up stripping out all of the music. We really tried to keep it as simple as possible because we felt like all you really needed in those moments were to hear what all of these incredibly brave and empowering women had to say. And I think, I want to shout out Austin Reedy, our editor, who's been just, he was along for quite the journey. This was a race to the finish line, and he was just really brilliant in the edit. And I think a lot of the courtroom moments came together because of his vision.
I have so many more questions, but I want to move on to the women in the film. So Dr. Dennard, Samantha, and Amanda, did I get the names right? Okay, good. You're superheroes. We don't need to see Marvel films anymore. It's one thing to agree to be in a lawsuit. It's a very different thing to agree to have cameras trailing you around while you're in that lawsuit. Each of us talk to you about what this journey has been for you and what it's meant.
Well, I approached the filmmaking process very similarly to how I approached filing a lawsuit, which was nonchalance and disbelief. A lot of people asked my husband Josh and I pretty early on whether we were interested in suing, and I thought, nah, you can't really sue a state. But I agreed to take this meeting with Molly and some of her colleagues, and I was quite disheveled. I'm embarrassed now looking back on how I showed up to that meeting, because after about 2 minutes, I realized, oh, okay, yeah, this is somebody that I want to hitch my wagon to, and this is a partnership that I want to forge forever. And I was right about that. And then a couple months later, Molly and Sandy came to us and said, we have another interesting proposal for you, and it's about some filmmakers that want to make a documentary about the case. And I thought, well, that also feels weird, but if it makes sense to you, then it probably makes sense to me. And I met Maisie and Abbie similarly on a Zoom, did not show up prepared, was disheveled again, didn't learn my lesson, and after about 30 seconds this time, I thought, okay, yeah, let's do this thing. And as you can see in the film, I think all of us agreed to let them into some of the most vulnerable, challenging, emotional periods of our lives. And I can't think of anybody to do it better or more respectfully or more compassionately. So I have no regrets. I don't really have the words to explain it. It's just the relationship that they fostered. They're incredible.
Did you find
Thank
any
you.
part of the process for you therapeutic in a weird way? I'm just curious.
For me personally, I think the more I have talked about it, yes, because it helps you process and it helps you understand what happened. That's my own personal experience, but yeah, it was definitely therapeutic. And it also is empowering and motivating.
Well, much like Amanda, I was very naive coming into all of this. And when I decided to join the lawsuit, I thought, well, this is a perfect, productive way for me to just sign my name on a paper document, and we can just let those smart lawyers figure all these issues out for us. And I'll just continue seeing my patients and trying to take good care of them. And of course, we all know how that ended. But I think just meeting Molly, feeling so protected by her and in such good hands was the beginning of all of it for me. And so then when it was suggested that I speak with Abbie and Maisie, like everyone else, I just fell in love with them immediately. And what I've realized, because I never thought I was going to be like a super political person or an activist or an advocate in any other way other than just trying to take really great care of my patients. Everything that I have said yes to so far, and as long as I listen to my gut and get, have a meeting with my husband about it, everything that I've said yes to, I've been really happy that I have, and it has been very healing and very empowering to be surrounded by people like all of y'all here in this theater, supporting us, continuing the momentum of the movement, and really sharing our stories and realizing how powerful they are. So just a lot of gut instinct, I think.
I think for myself, I first want to say you don't know what you have until you do not have it. And in this case, it is healthcare. And that's scary. And the day before my daughter's funeral, I got a call from Sandy. And I was told about it. And when I met my daughter, I was angry and upset. I think it's seeing her eyes bleed, I needed to tell everybody. It's more like you guys wanted her here, she's here, and now everybody's going to know her story. And I want everyone to know that this is real, this is reality, it's not a fairy tale, and exceptions are not real. And you can obviously see that in this film, and we're standing right here to tell everyone that this is real. So it was a little, when I met them, I just immediately, I was in mom mode. The adrenaline was up, and I was like, let's do this. And after a while, I actually was so much into my own emotions and my own world that I didn't even remember that they were there at some times. And then seeing this, I was like, oh, you guys saw that. Oh, okay. You know? But it's important for everyone to know that, this is what it is.
And that's a great pivot to another question. What else is important for us all to know? What's the most important thing that we all need to know from each of you right now?
Abortion is healthcare.
Well, I was also going to say, we have to stay vigilant. We can't let our freedoms slip between our fingers. We have to keep fighting, and when we're tired, we still need to wake up and fight more and continue on.
I just want to add that, you've been told that abortion is a two-sides issue. You've been told that abortion is a political issue. It's not. It's neither of those things. 70%, yes, thank you. More than 70% of Americans agree that abortion is health care and that the government has no place in these decisions. It is a small, extreme, and cruel minority that is pushing an agenda otherwise. So did they interview the other side? Why? What other side? We're the majority.
Yeah. I just to defend my question, which might have seemed
Sorry, that
horrible.
wasn't a personal
No.
attack.
It's not like I'm Fox News and I thought, we need a balanced thing. No, I wanted, you could have skewered them, too. There's a way you can, completely hang
They
them.
do it just fine on their own.
Yeah. What do you all see as the biggest way all of us can be really active right now in helping you?
Tell one person. You leave here, you tell one person about this, and then that one person will tell another person and another person. And remember that this is your bloodline. It's going to go on for generations. This is your family legacy. So make sure that it's at stake right now. So make sure November 5th that you remember that this is your family too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we want people to see this film, and we want people to have conversations with the people in your life who maybe disagree with you and maybe think that this isn't happening. And to that end, we're doing a 48-hour online free virtual screening so that people across the US can access this film. And that's happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So please, please share it. And you can go to our website, ZURAWSKI-V-TEXAS.com, to access that link. And you can send it as a gift to anyone in your life.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
Thank you.
I mean, I imagine this is we're probably looking at the marketing budget. And so you guys are, we don't have, your social media can really help propel this. So please, please, please don't just tell one person, tell 6 million of your best friends and, post out and just tell them it's a film they need to see and they need to figure out how to see and they need to, share it. And are you doing an impact campaign in schools and community centers and things like that?
Yeah, we've been showing the film across the country in states with ballot initiatives, having conversations afterwards, and we're continuing to expand the reach of the film to schools, and we're trying to get it in churches in Texas. We're trying to get it as many places as we can, and we're actively working on an impact campaign.
That's great.
And then a little local plug, we'll be playing for a week starting on Friday at the Lemley, Santa Monica. So if you have people in your life here that you think need to see it, send them our way.
And also, it's award season, and there's nothing like awards to get, earned media and free press for a film and attention to it. So again, everybody in this room is probably in the industry or deeply related. No one's a civilian. So, do your thing, right? I don't know what the rules are anymore, but I'm not a rule follower, but you know what I'm saying. Okay.
I really just want to say something
Yes,
really
please,
quick
yes.
that I think is important. I'm so sorry. So when long story short, when we say, you know, November 5th and vote, and some people are like, okay, but what are we doing? Supreme Court, there are seats that you can vote them out. And so you should follow Find Out PAC, and then you'll understand more of what I'm talking about. So you can actually get it and visually see what we're talking about. And yeah, there. Find Out PAC, that's PAC. Oh, and then
It's not just the president and the vice president and Congress people that matter. In lots of places, you can vote for local officials like judges. All of the judges you saw on the screen were elected, and you can see how much of a difference it makes. So please research that.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to me. So when Kamala got the nomination, I stopped everything I was doing, and I volunteer full-time for the campaign now. So I have a sheet if you want to grab when you leave here. It's, we have 11 days left, and there's 10 things everyone needs to do to make sure that we go blue in November 5th. So please, as you're leaving, grab a sheet, and it's on us. There's no cavalry coming. We're the cavalry. So we're the storm. Be the storm. That was
Yes,
so
and
beautiful. Oh, my God.
Sam reminds me that I work for a 501c3, so everything I said was in my personal capacity. Thank you very much.
So I think this was amazing. You all are amazing. Thank you. Spread the word. Vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.